G'day folks, and welcome to Tabletop Road, where today we're playing through a little bit of the Isofarian Guard, and we're just going to be jumping in midway through a campaign that I'm currently in the middle of playing, just to give you a bit of an example of how the exploration and battle phases work. So for anyone who doesn't know, the Isofarian Guard is a narrative-driven adventure game in which one or two players control members of the Isofarian Guard who have just woken up latent magical abilities that are tied to these speaking stones, which you can see each of us actually have two equipped here. And we are loosely sort of working our way across this land of Isofar, doing our best to stop the spread of Tenebris, which is, as of yet, a rather unexplained sort of dark force. Don't exactly know where it's come from or what it's doing, but it is corrupting people and the world. So each of our guards commands a couple of abilities that are powered by these speaking stones. And you can see they're a bit split up here, but we've got a guard dashboard that consists of their character and equipment here and their abilities. The Isofarian Guard plays across 5 separate campaigns, and you control different characters in each. Right now we're in the middle of chapter 2 of the first campaign, and we're sort of just wandering the world. Basically at the start of the game we went off to see the king to let him know that we'd discovered these stone-bound abilities that started resurfacing in the world, and he said don't want no wizards here, and kicked us out of the kingdom. So we're wandering around. No, we found some farmers fighting. The leader of one group of farmers said, "Oh, if you go kill the leader of this other group, I'll basically do anything for you." And we said, we probably want to find out a little bit more about him before we do that. So we went and eventually tracked him down, and it turned out he was a bit of a bad dude. Was also kind of more interested in eating dinner than anything else, but he managed to kill us, and we lost all our gold, or sil, which is what we call it. But yeah, him and his guards made a pretty quick mess of us. So ever since then we've just been walking around killing beasts and looting gold and picking up cool shit. Recently just went and spent all our money at a blacksmith crafting some sick-ass swords so that we can be a little bit stronger and go back and hopefully not die when we meet this dude again. So our guards are represented by these chips, and most things in this game are represented by chips. We got this town Reba here. We've got a bit of a zoomed in map of it over there with a scroll chip on it. That is these couple of dudes that have lost their boat. So that's something we are planning to make it back to. This little book here is our main narrative event, which is that big hungry man who is a bit deadly. And then this little campfire chip here is showing the last place where we stayed at an inn. So basically if both our guards die during combat, we'll wake up at that inn, and we just move around from node to node, just trying to fight some dudes for money. So we're zipping up here. We're just going to shift up to node 63. It costs us nothing to move. We just have to draw another chip to see the result of what happens when we get there. So we're moving up to 63, and we're going to pull a chip out of this bag and then compare it to a table and see what happens. So we get a compass chip, which is actually a pretty good thing. So the first thing that does is every time you draw a compass chip, you put a little purple cube on the corresponding little adventure deck. So we're going to pop one down there. When it gets to 3 on the deck, we take them off and resolve the top card. And there's just a little tidbit that happens. You know, these just pop up from time to time as we're exploring the world. Protect the cargo. Along the road, a man dressed as a merchant stands outside his cart. He waves you down and requests assistance getting his wares to Vorno. The roads aren't safe anymore. Isn't this part of your job? Choose a path. Number 1. Escort the merchant and his cargo to Vorno minimap. Place this card next to a guard's dashboard. Do not flip over this card until arrival of Vorno. The guards may not enter any minimap location until they arrive at Vorno. And that, for reference, is all the way over there. Or option 2, decline to escort the merchant. But we're definitely going to take option 1. So we're just going to pop this down here, I suppose. I mean, it sounds like if we help out a merchant, he'll give us some money. So let's work on that theory. So let's get back down here and along there, escorting this merchant. So we're going to node 68. And again, we're going to draw another chip from this little baggie. We get a single skull, 68. So what happens then is we cross-reference that to this little book here. In each campaign, you start at a very low level and build your way up. So in chapter 2, node 68, we reference this table here. A single skull means we're fighting a brigand and marauder, a 2-star brigand and marauder. And over here we got this big old stack of enemies. So you'll see in here there's a 2-star brigand and marauder, and then each enemy has their own unique action deck. And there's 1-star brigand marauders, 2 and 3-star. So they're going to get progressively more difficult to deal with in each chapter of the game. So we get that 2-star brigand and marauder, pop him down there, shuffle up his action deck, and pop that next to him. And these are our enemy dashboards, and they're basically set out in a front row and a back row. And then this book will tell us where each enemy is. So if, for example, we'd drawn 2 skulls, we'd have a brigand marauder in location 1 and a brigand chief up here in board 3. And all that means is you can't attack the back row enemies until you've taken out the front row enemies. And there are some abilities that let us get around that limitation, but that's the general rule. So then what we do here is we just have a look at him, and he's got a base value of 2 attack. You can not really see that at all with a sleeve on it. Put that back on later. 2 attack and 2 defense. So we'll pop those cubes up there to show. Ooh, it's going to be scary when they get up this end. 2 cubes there, and that's AP. So that's basically his energy, his action points, and that's what we each spend to activate our abilities, and then 10 health. So we just leave 1 red cube on the 10. The way it works is both guards take their turns and resolve everything, and then every enemy will take their turn in their order, 1, 2, 3, 4. We maintain the same board from battle to battle because we're just wandering around and nothing much changes. So in the aftermath of the last few fights, Alec is down to 10 HP with a max of 20, and his base stats are 4 attack and 1 defense, and he's got 2 AP there ready to go. Anyway, so what we're going to do, each guard has their own bag of chips, and there's various coloured chips inside, and we're going to draw out a number of chips equal to our available AP. So Alec is going to draw out 2 chips, but black chips are the only ones that count towards the total. So you'll notice if we pull out any other chips of another colour, they won't count. So we'll go 1, 1, 2. Okay. So a sword, a shield, and a heart. This instantly regenerates 1 health, and green and red chips immediately just go back to the supply. So that one's gone forever. Now we've got a sword and a shield, and we use these chips to activate abilities on our dashboard here. So each ability has a cost in chips and in action points, and we just spend each to activate them in the order we choose. And these cards are a constant, and we can use them once per turn, basically. So if we use it, we pop a chip on it to say that we've used it, and exhaust 1 AP and resolve its ability. Now Alec here has a number of potions, and they all have a top ability. So for instance, his Crimson Tonic. Add 1 green heart chip to Alec or his ally's bag. Then below that has an Empower action. Add 1 green heart chip to both bags. And then you'll notice his Combine ability here has, its main power is trigger the Empower effect of 1 card. Or if 2 potion cards are active, flip 1 non-active potion card, which we probably won't get to see in this battle. So you can activate each potion once and then empower it a separate time. What we're going to do is, looking at his board here, really the strongest start we can get is by giving Grigory 1 extra AP, which we can do by empowering his golden potion. So if we were to activate it, we could spend the sword and the shield on 1 AP to activate it and gain 1 green AP for ourselves. And the green AP works the same as a grey AP, except that they are not persistent, so they'll all go away at the end of the battle. But if we empower it, our ally gains a green AP instead. And Grigory just so happens to quite enjoy that situation. So what we're going to do is put 1 shield chip on our Combine card and exhaust 1 AP. Trigger the Empower effect of 1 card. We'll empower our golden potion and pop that green AP up there. And then we've got 1 sword chip left, for which we can either activate a Crimson Tonic and add 1 green heart chip to our bag, which will let us, as you saw at the start of this battle, regenerate 1 when we draw it, or we can use our sword chip to activate the ability on our weapon, which will just allow us to attack for a +0, so we're attack for a 4, and it's just a basic attack. But we're not that deep into this fight yet. We can take a bit of time, pop it down here, spend 1 AP, and just pop another green heart chip straight back in this bag, ready for next turn. Now Alec also has a couple of Stonebound abilities here, which don't require chips or AP to activate. You just have to spend the Speaking Stone associated with that, and these have just a 2-turn cooldown system, so we'd activate it by placing the stone there. At the end of this round it'll come into this cooldown spot, then at the end of the next round it'll pop back over to the ready spot. Now this Purification ability allows us to remove 1 negative chip from each of our bags, so enemies can sometimes pop various chips in our bags that do nasty things when we draw them, but we've managed to keep those under control recently, so there's no point in activating this one. Our Reinforcement ability, however, attack 1 enemy for +1, which means an attack of 5, and while active we get +1 defense as well, so if he attacks us back, we're going to take 1 less damage, and that is what we're most interested in out of everything, because we're already half dead. So we're going to activate that one. Attack 1 enemy for +1, so our base attack of 4, so we're attacking for 5. And if you look over here, he's got a defense value of 2, so we're just going to hit him for 3 damage and knock him down to 7 HP. And you can see with a single Brigand Marauder, this battle's going to be over pretty quick. Okay, that's going to be the end of Alec's turn, and we'll head over to Grigory. So now, because Grigory starts this battle with 3 AP, thanks to Alec empowering that potion, we're going to draw up to 3 chips. 1, 2, 2, because it's green it doesn't count, and 3. And the way these work is you can convert 2 sword symbols into 1 shield and vice versa. So we could count this double sword chip as a single shield, or we could combine both these shields and count it as a single sword and activate this, for instance. So the way we are going to use these guys. We'll just give you a bit of a demo here of how powerful Grigory can be. If only he had the power to reheat a cold cuppa. Christ, I don't know why I went back for more. Yucky. So you'll notice Grigory here doesn't have the Empower ability. Instead, his keyword is Chain. And the way Chain works is he likes to combo his cards together. So you can activate a card, and then the next one you activate is chained onto it. And basically that just means you get to activate the extra little chain ability on the second line of that card. So let's going to figure this out, because we've just unlocked this new flank ability, which actually looks pretty dandy. Also, Grigory has some pretty handy stone-bound abilities, one of which is attack all enemies for +1. So that's one way to get around the front line, back line rule and just attack everyone all at once. So that can be very powerful, or it can be a single attack against a single enemy if one's all we've got. And his other stone-bound ability here is to draw 2 chips and then heal Grigory and Alec 1 each. We're definitely going to do that for a start, because more is better. 1, because it's purple, it doesn't count. 2, so this purple heart instantly heals us for 1. Then it just goes to our discard, and that's a constant chip. So it cycles back into our bag whenever we refill it, and then the second half of this is to heal Grigory and Alec by 1 each. Right, now I'm going to start going to town. Grigory goes to absolute town. This guy doesn't have a whole lot of HP. So I'm not actually going to activate this ability first, even though his chain ability is to attack one enemy for +0, which in Grigory's case is 5. We're not going to need to do that. What we'll do is we'll place a sword and a shield here and spend 1 AP to add 1 -1, where are they? And 1 -1 shield, -1 defense to an enemy. So he's down to defending for 1, which just means, because red chips go away at the end of the round, every time we attack him until then, 1 more damage is going to go through. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to come down here and activate this one for 1 shield, and it doesn't have an AP cost. We flip 1 non-active card, but you'll see each of our main ability cards has a P on top. That just means it's on its primary side, and we can flip it to a secondary side, which in a lot of cases is a somewhat stronger ability. But this little symbol in the top corner of Grigory's cards means that when you take a chip off of that card, it flips. So for example, we've activated these 2, then at the end of this round, all these chips go to the discard pile, and you pull these chips off, this card will flip. So this ability just allows us to flip 1 early, and then our chain ability is to gain 1 more green AP. And then we're going to immediately jump on this here with 2 swords, and those 2 swords can of course be 2 separate swords, but we have a double sword, we may as well use it. So for 2 swords and 2 AP, attack 1 enemy for +2. So we're attacking our base value of 5, +2 is 7, and he's defending for 1, so we're just hitting him for 6, and he's down to 1 already. This is just too easy. And his chain ability is to draw 2 chips. 1, 2. And in this situation, I'm very glad I didn't draw another green chip, because once they're out of the bag, they get discarded back to the supply, and we don't get them back until next time we find an ability to put them in our bag. Now we've got all these chips, and there is so much potential for damage here. We can pop 1 there and do a 5 damage attack. We can activate the Stonebound ability and do a +1, so a 6 damage attack. We can pop 1 down there and spend our last AP, do an attack for +0, Honestly, it doesn't matter which way we do it right now because cards and chips and AP reset at the end of the battle. So we're just going to do this, spend 1 sword chip here for our last AP, attack for +0, and chain to exhaust 1 AP from the target. So if he did get a turn, he'd have less energy to do anything with. So now we're just hitting him for 5, 4 goes through, and he is down to 0. So that was probably not a very exciting battle to actually show. But there you go, that's what happened. So he's taken out, and we'll see on the back of his card there, we gain 4 Lux Essence and 5 Sil for defeating him. So our Sil, we'll just track him with these dice here. We'll go up to 9. And we gain 4 Lux Essence. Lux Essence is like a communal experience pool. So that was over pretty quick. So while we're here, I think we may as well just keep going and start another battle. So green chips get discarded as soon as they're used. All the black and purple go back to your bag. We reset everything, flip everything back to its primary side. Reset our speaking stones. Speaking stone. 2 black chips go back in Alex's bag. Refresh AP, and discard the green AP. This enemy's gone. This red chip goes back to the supply. And we'll put our Brigand Marauder back in the box. Okay, we're going to zip along to node 57. We have to draw a chip. Let's see what we get. A single skull on node 57 in chapter 2. There's a plain strider, 2-star, written in red, which means it's an ambush. So a plain strider, shuffle up. Alright. He's got a base attack of 3, defense of 2, comes in with 2 AP and 10 health. And he ambushes us. So we'd probably take him out in 1 round, but he gets to go first and make our days worse. So choose target, highest defense and aggro. Aggro is reset because we're in a new battle, so no one's aggro, but Gregory has a higher base defense stat. Attack target. If Plain Strider has an evasion chip, which he does not, it would be worse. Otherwise, for 1 AP, do a charging strike of attack +2. So with his base 3, he's attacking for 5, and I've got a defense of 3. So I'm going to lose 1, 2, so a defense of 2, so I take 3. 3 damage, and we're down to 18. End turn. So his other AP is wasted. There we go. Back over to us, and Alec is going to start us off again. With all these extra green chips in his bag. Might have a big first turn. 0, 0, 1, 1, 2. So you see how drastically different adding extra chips to your bag can be. We've gone from a 2 AP, drawing 2 chips to gaining 5 basically. So we get +1 HP straight away from this chip. And we got 3 swords and 1 shield. And that's pretty cool. So with a sword and a shield and 1 AP, we can activate our golden potion and gain 1 more HP. Then what we're going to do is convert our 2 swords to a single shield, spend 1 AP, and you wouldn't believe it, we're going to give a green AP to Gregory. Now we have no negative chips in our bag to remove, so there's no reason to activate this speaking stone, but we may as well attack the Plain Strider for +1 and give ourselves 1 extra defense just in case he sneaks through, because we do something silly, which doesn't sound at all like something I would do, right? Just in case. So Alec gains the aggro chip, attack 1 enemy for +1, so based out of 4 we're attacking for 5, and with his defense of 2 we're dealing 3 damage, and he's down to 7. Now Gregory's going to start rolling Draw up to 3 chips. 0. Wasted. 1, 2, 3. No, I mean, I know I just said we surely won't do anything silly like stuffing around and letting him get one up on us, but we're definitely going to do it again. Definitely got to do it again, yeah. So let's draw 2 chips and heal us both by 1. Because that never sucks. Alright, we might even just get away with not gaining 1 there. So what? No, because that's a 2 AP ability. So we do need to. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off here. What do we have? 2 swords, 3 shields. So just for a loose reference, 1 sword is an attack of 6. Is 4 damage. So between that sword and that speaking stone, we can take him out. So we can just play with the rest of these to start loading up our bag. So we start with this one because we know we don't need to exhaust 1 AP from him. So we're just going to spend 1 sword, 1 AP, attack 1 enemy for +0. So base stat of 5 plus 1 is 6, negating his 2 defense, dealing 4, and he's down to 3. So we flip 1 non-active card. Doesn't cost an AP because it's 1 shield chip. We gain a green AP. Gonna flip this feint. Then we're gonna spend 1 sword, 1 shield, and 2 AP. Like that. We're gonna add 1 green plus 1 damage and chain for another 1. Start loading that bag up. If this was a sword, we could also activate that, but alas, we cannot. And we're just going to activate this speaking stone, attack all enemies for +1, which means we're dealing 7 damage. 5 goes through, and the Plane Strider is gone. So, looking at the back side of that card, again, 6 Lux Essence, up to 19. So we're getting experience off of these dudes, but for whatever reason, a Plane Strider didn't carry around a purse full of sil for us. We gained some rough leather. We're just going to leave the leather and move on. So we're going to reset all these guys. Chuck all of these back in the bag. Flip back to the primary side. Put these back. Alec has used up those 2 that we popped in his bag in the last battle. And if you're chucking green chips in there, they're always gone. They're gone too quick. Pop this one back away. Bye-bye, Plane Strider. Strider, sir. Where'd you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Plane Strider. Oh, yo, yeah. Great. Wonderful little tune. Let's just bust another one out just to see if we can make something else happen. So we're going to draw an exploration chip for node 53. And it's going to be a compass. So when we draw a compass chip, first thing we do is pop a purple cube on the deck correlating to that. And I believe 53 is going to be the yellow deck. But let's just check. Check the deck. Nodes 24 to 77 on the yellow card. So we'll chuck him down there. And then we can choose if we wish to engage in any of the 3 possible battles here. So Plane Strider Ambush, a Clayhorn, or a Tenebrous Strider. And none of those are going to be dropping any gold. Let's just take on a 2-star Tenebrous Strider. We don't have to, but it might drop something that we can sell in town. No stuff, let's just carry on. We'll zip along to node 52. And we'll draw another chip at node 52. See what we can see. It's a double skull for node 52, which correlates to a 2-star Seer Assassin. So now we pop out this guy here. We'll take him out of his sleeve so that we can see what's going on. Pop these 3 and 4-star Seer Assassins away because ain't nobody on top of that. Give that a shaft. Give it a shaft, love. Thank you. Base attack 3, defensive 2, 3 AP, and 15 health. Let's go. So Alec, starting us off once again, drawing up to his 2 AP, 1 and 1, 2. Alright. Lovely. This purple chip is Alec's favourite because, man, it just gets him 1 AP for 1 chippy. Chippy. So we got 2 shields and 1 sword. So here we can start to see when you activate combine, you trigger the empower effect of 1 card, which we've been doing every time to give Gregory 1 AP. Or if 2 potion cards are active, flip 1 non-active potion card. And that costs 1 shield to activate. So we can activate either of these to flip the other one. Right, if we flip this, its ability is flip up to 2 non-active cards. Or empower to add 2 green +1 boys to Gregory. This one adds 2 poison to an enemy and then empower to deal 3 damage to anyone who's poisoned. Now honestly, since we've built Alec that deadly weapon, adding 2 poison and dealing 3 damage is less appealing than it used to be, because he's just attacking for 4 on a single chip anyway. See, this is why he's just such a good support, man, because there's just no point in doing other stuff with him. He's just better, making Gregory a sick dog. So, before we activate a second potion card, because we don't actually want to flip one, but then if we flip this one, it's going to be another 2 turns, because this will flip after we take the chip off, so we'll have to use that ability to flip it back so we can empower, so that we can add these 2 chips. And that's just, this battle's not going to last that many turns. That's what it comes down to. So, I'm going to trigger the empower effect first, here. And Gregory's going to gain 1 AP. Then we got a sword and a shield left. Sorry, that cost us 1 AP, so I've only got 1 AP left, so we can only activate one of these 2. It's going to be this one. Going to put a green sword and a green shield into Alec's bag. Because drawing these greens on turn 1, let's do a lot more. Then we got this sword, which we may as well spend here to do an attack of +0, which is going to be 4 to his defense of 2 and deal 2 damage. Alec gains the aggro chip, which we forgot to take off him anyway. We may as well activate this. Attack 1 enemy for +1, attack for 5, and deal another 3. So he's down to 10 before Gregory even draws a chip. Alec does some work. Alec is more than just a support. Drawing up to 3. 0, 1, 2, 2, 3. Mate, you see these 2 come out on an enemy with 10 health left? It feels like a waste. You see the double sword come out, and you know you're going to be flipping that one. A lot of black chips left in there. Oh wait, we may as well just do this. Draw 2 chips. 1, 2, okay. Oof, whoops, that's there. Just so that I remember what I've got, and the Hill Gregory and the Alabo 1. We may as well, because we like being healthy. We'll do this one first. Attack for +0, which is 5, 6, 7, dealing 5. He's down to 5. We know that this Speaking Stone is going to kill him, so we just use the rest of our chips to do good stuff. So we spend... Once again, man. Once again with the bloody not enough swords. Flip 1 non-active card and gain 1 AP. Oh, and of course we've spent 1 AP there. We just can't activate both of these. These +1s are where the money is at. So, waste a double sword and a shield. Spend 2. Add 2 of those to my bag. Making money moves. We just do all of that just so that we can cycle those back to our bag, and then we do this and deal our 5, 6, 7, 8. Deal our 6 damage. And he gone. we're just mowing through these dudes, man. I'll tell you what. Crafting some big, deadly swords was a stroke of genius.